Hello everyone, NG here, back with what we can only hope is the final teaser update before this update actually drops. So, what they're going over here today is a lovely dev blog that shows off the finalized version of the mastery and power systems. Now, the keen-eared among you might realize that power is not a system we've addressed previously. Well, that's because they've rebranded expertise as power. We will be going over power in a minute here. I think it's a very simple system, but let's start with mastery. I think this is one that's a little bit more complicated. So basically, what mastery is your weapon's experience level. And there are a couple things you gain during your experience track. We'll show it here down here in a second, but it's going to remind you a lot of the penance system, where as you progress your penances, you unlock more and more different things, kind of like a battle pass in a sort of way. So how do you gain mastery? Well, there's two ways to gain mastery. The first one is by completing games. By completing more difficult games, such as playing on higher difficulties like Damnation, or playing Auric, or taking on additional challenging modifiers such as high intensity, or like the dogs, or one would have to assume Auric Maelstrom applies to this, you can increase the mastery gain per mission. They have said that the average to start unlocking tier 4 blessings, which is like the goal of this whole mastery system, is to unlock all the blessings and perks for weapons, is between 5 and 15 games, depending on the difficulties that you're playing at. So if you're playing on the max difficulty, you can start to unlock tier 4 blessings in about 5 games, and that is without any previous investment in the system, such as the second way to gain mastery, or already having blessings sacrificed to Hadron currently, which you still have 2 days left to do. So the other way you can gain mastery is through sacrifice, and they go over it down here. Basically, if you have hordes of weapons that they may or may not have blessings that you have already, they could be green, they could be white, whatever it is, as long as they belong to the same weapon family, you can sacrifice them and get a little bit of experience towards that weapon. It's a kind of in-world seen as, giving Hadron a chance to look over these weapons and study them more and learn more about them, because we're somehow, I guess we're finding them, who knows. The really cool thing about this sacrifice system is that with it, they're introducing the ability to filter our inventory when we delete weapons, which is great for those of us who have, buy a bunch of weapons and sort through them. Hopefully the days of crafting a million of these and then deleting a million are gone, so we don't have to worry about it too much. But you can see here that you can actually filter by the quality or the power level, which is really, really amazing. And you can favorite weapons so they cannot be deleted by the system or accidentally in your inventory by any other means. All of these are features that if you play with mods, you probably have been playing with for a while, but I really, really enjoy and embrace the idea that some of these quality of life systems that those of us who play with mods have taken for granted are being introduced to players that are either not bothered to get mods or playing on consoles where you can't. So let's go back to the mastery progression. Now that we know how we get mastery, what does that give you? So there's 3 things that you get from mastery, and so we can see them in these sort of screens right here. Now, this player is on mastery 13. What they are getting as they progress, we can see this here. This is a power level upgrade. So this is the power level cap that the weapon can go to. This is blessing points, and this is the perk maximum, the perk upgrade, basically the perk cap. So what this is showing us is that every time you get to one of these nodes that has this blessing point thing here, you can allot 3 different blessings. And the way they explain this is that you need to allot 5 of any given tier to advance to the next tier. So in order to get to tier 2 blessings, you have to put 5 points into level 1 blessings. So your 6th point, you'll be able to buy your first tier 2 blessing. So following that logic, it'll take 15 points, bare minimum, to get your blessings up to all tier 3s, and then your 16th point you can purchase your first tier 4 blessing. There are a couple other things that will be getting us these points, so that's good. We'll go over that in a second. but that doesn't seem like it's going to be very taxing. Given if we count the amount of blessing points this current player has here, they have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 20 points. From what I can see. Oh, and they have 21. They have one to spend over here. They have 21. So this player could have actually gotten 5 tier 4 blessings already, and they're at mastery 13, which is way more than most players are going to need, right? Most players are going to play with 2, maybe 3 blessings that are maxed out on a weapon, because those are the ones that are actually good. The other thing that we are going to unlock with this, so we can unlock blessings. The other couple things we're going to unlock are weapon marks. It doesn't show it in the track here, but as you progress, you are going to gain access to these different weapon marks for crafting. I don't think this is a feature that's intended for experienced players, because you can still gain these weapon marks through buying them at the shop, or buying them with milk, or them dropping from missions. I think this is a way of helping newer players, or players who are like leveling a weapon for the first time. Okay, you're leveling with this weapon in the family. Okay, here, try this different mark version of it and see if you like this better. And when you achieve the level that gives you that weapon mark, it actually gives you one of those weapons for free that you can craft on, that you can improve, so that if you don't have resources, maybe you just started playing and you just started in a weapon tree, you can get that one of those weapons for free without having to like find it randomly in the shop. I think this is going to be much more geared to the new player experience, but I think it's nice. It'll get people to experiment with more stuff, because maybe all it takes for you to experiment with a new weapon and find your favorite weapon is having one sort of thrown at you. Unlocking perks is also in this tree. We showed it right here. So this right here, tier 14, is when you unlock the tier 4 perks, the highest tier of perks for a given weapon class. And once you have that unlocked, you can change any of the perks. There's 2 perks on any weapon maximum. You can change any of them to tier 4, and they're just free. So that's going to be really, really easy, and they do have a cost associated with changing them, just like they do currently, but there is no locks. There's no limit to the amount of times you can change them, or the amount of different ones you can have changed on a weapon. And then the final thing that's unlocked here is just the power cap. You can see it right there. This is power level 300, and this is power level 500. Basically what this means is if you are just starting with a weapon, you have no previous investment in it, meaning nothing sacrificed at Hadron currently, and you've never completed any missions holding it, you've never sacrificed any of these weapons, you will have a power cap of, you can see here, of 100, meaning any weapon that drops in the store, it may be better, like you can get weapon rewards that are higher than 100, but you cannot yourself upgrade them past power level 100. So the crafting is off limits to you until you, the crafting of upgrading these weapons, of empowering them they call it, is off limits to you until you upgrade your max power. And you can see there the max power is 500. That's just going to come naturally at the end of the tree, more or less. So that's everything you get from mastery. We already talked about the ways you can gain mastery. Let's go over 2 really, really important things here. 1, what is going to happen to current weapons? Well, current weapons are staying the exact same, even if you got very lucky and you have a perfectly rolled weapon, max power level, perfect blessings, all that stuff, and you might not be able to craft that weapon ever again, but it is immortalized in your inventory. You have it. They cannot take it away from you. So that is really good that we have that. That being said, right here is you could not craft another one of these, but you are going to keep every weapon in your inventory regardless of what your mastery or power is within the weapon class. And the thing a lot of people are concerned about is how do the blessings, meaning specifically the blessings that we've sacrificed already at Hadron, for those of us that have been doing that, migrate into the new system. So there's a lot of math here, and I'm going to break it down for you. 1 is by like kind of skimming this, and 2 is by just skipping down to the last paragraph. But basically, if you have all of the, if you have tier 4, all the tier 4 and tier 3 blessings on a weapon, you basically gain all of the blessing points as a reward for that. So more or less, it's like based on how many blessings there are available on a weapon, the higher percentage you have of them, the more you are just going to be given as soon as this new system starts. Just to really break it down in like the simplest possible terms, what they say down here, if an example weapon has 10 possible blessings that are across, times 4, so there's 10 tier 1, 10 tier 2, 10 tier 3, 10 tier 4. If you have 6 out of the 10 tier 4 blessings, then immediately you will be able to unlock 3 tier 4 blessings. Just based on the amount of experience or mastery it's going to give you towards the new system. So it is going to basically reset you. Like, you won't be able to immediately craft those tier 4 blessings, but you can just reassign your points to get those. Or like, if you're me, you may not have found like the really good tier 4 blessings like Power Cycler and shit like that, but you have all the other ones. So what this is going to give you is a soft reset. You'll be able to cash in all those blessings and you'll pick the couple that you really, really want, which is very, very important. So I think all of us that have been playing a lot and sacrificing weapons and getting all of the blessings are going to be set up to just pick the good stuff right away, which is awesome. All right, let's go on to the power system. So the power system is basically just this system where we're able to bump up the stats of any weapon, regardless of the source that we got it from, to 380 or overall stats, meaning that 4 of these bars are at 80 and the last one is capped at like 60, and there's a total of 380 points distributed between all 4 bars. Now this all upgrades like together. You can't choose like, oh shoot, like I'm gonna max out the damage first or whatever. They just said like, this is what you do. You just press upgrade here and you go from 490 to 500. It is good to see the resource costs down here. Upgrading from 490 to 500, maxing out a weapon, it's only costing $6,000 dues and 175 plasteel and 180 diamante. Like, that's not very much cost at all. I kind of thought that this might be a more prohibitive cost, but then you got to remember that most players are not running with this much plasteel in their inventory. That's only for losers like me. So just like they showed before in the mastery system, your cap, your power cap will sort of increase as you progress through your mastery system. And so we are tied to getting mastery first before you can empower these weapons all the way up. But once you have your mastery maxed out and you can make these weapons 500, all you have to do is continue investing resources. When these weapons drop, however, they will have a fixed distribution. You can see it here. Well, actually, they have a better picture of it. Yeah, you can see it here. So this weapon, it is not fully powered up. It's 490, right? It could go to 500. But you can see here the gray bars right here and right here, and also the numbers that are showing you what the maximum potential for this weapon is. Now they say down here that there's going to be no way to tweak this. You will still have to fish for a weapon to be the absolute perfect distribution that you want. To have the lowest stat and the dump stat, the worst thing for the weapon, because this game is sort of a bit of a looter shooter. Like, the loot is sort of core to part of the interest in grinding. Like, you do want there to be a bit of a grind. You don't want to just be able to like, all right, this weapon is perfect, then I put the right stats on it, GG. But it shouldn't be too prohibitive for especially players that have a lot of hours and a lot of resources to play around with, because you can just keep buying weapons until you see one that has the stats bars all the way maxed out. And because all of these gray bars will always total up to 380, it's going to be very common to find weapons that have, a good stat distribution, or at least, a lot more common than it was before. So that is the power system, more or less. Just, it'll show you what the stats can eventually be, and you invest resources to get it there, provided you have the mastery level to unlock that level of power. And then they talk a little bit about the weapons that are cross-classing now. It's all for humans. Sorry, Ogrins. We already talked about this in my last video. And then they talk about some quality of life stuff, which I went over before. You can discard weapons or sell weapons. One really interesting thing is that now, when you sell weapons, you don't just get credits. You get plasteel in addition when you sacrifice or when you sell purple weapons, and you get plasteel and diamantine when you sell orange weapons. So I guess I've missed out on a lot of plasteel by selling purple and orange weapons over the years, but I might not need that much starting, in a few days. I think the system is going to be so much less plasteel intensive than I thought it might be in the first place. I already said you can favorite weapons, so that is really great. Okay, well, guys, that is everything. Oh, there's one more thing. When you complete the weapon track, when you complete the mastery track for weapon, they are saying that there is a cosmetic per weapon, which could be really cool. I hope they put some effort into them. I hope it's not just some crappy reskin. Remains to be seen. A lot of the paid skins are very cool, so I know the art team does a good job. So hopefully there's something that's kind of flashy for having a weapon fully mastered. Not that it will take that hard to master it. Alright guys, this is up on Steam. This post is up on Steam. It's also up on the forums on the Dark Tide or the Fat Shark forums on their website if you want to look at it yourself. But that's basically everything. It's just these two simple systems. We're just going to have experience trees for experience tracks for our weapons now, and guarantee the perfect upgrades with enough time investment, which is sounds good to me. Sounds pretty good to me. Alright y'all, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.